Okay, well, Rob's figured it out
No,
anyway.
it's okay. Yeah, got it. Took a while. Sorry, I had to reset my password and then it went in automatically.
Okay.
Okay, good. The thing I want to talk about is hold on a second. Let me change that. Oh, repeat. The I cut a recording from somebody who took a flight with a Nano and a Zen, but the Zen didn't record the GPS when it's above 4,000 meters. Do you know if we have a limit on that? If we cut the
4,000 meters. Well, I can have a look at the source code.
maybe
Um,
maybe it's if we make a drive, it cannot be more than 4,000 meters. So the highest mountain is 4,000, I think. About
uh,
4 kilometers.
there's a sanity check right now. Uh, has to do with airplanes, like speed, basically GNSS fixed, and distance step is less than 0.5 kilometers, so 500 meters. So, and the note says airplanes fly at 255 meters per second. So, say commercial aircraft, what is it?
Yeah.
What is so, uh,
And
just,
I posted the SD
yeah,
card also on it. You can see the Nano records no problem, but the Zen
right.
pops out after 4,000 meters
Let's see, hang on. We got,
or around that, so 3,990, I think, something like that.
mhm. So, so 500 meters per second, 4 seconds would be 2,000 meter, or 5 seconds would be 2,500 meters. That's it.
And it's probably not the speed because I can imagine the speed of the airplane is before it reached four kilometers. It's maybe 900, 800 kilometers an hour.
Hang on a second. Okay, hang on. I'm just going to calculate that. Just still early in the morning. I have trouble with calculator works fine. It's the pilot error. So
Yeah, that's very appropriate. Why was there?
all right. So it's 2,500 meters per second, and times seconds, 3,600 seconds, and so that's uh, kilometers. So 1,000 divide. I'm getting this is ridiculous. Uh, pencil, paper. Anyway, you guys talk about that while I figure out the
Yeah.
actual.
So, well, I'm thinking that any of this filtering that we're talking about, that should occur
Yes,
after the fact. The
yes.
log should just record whatever it sees, whatever the GPS is putting out.
Yeah.
And then after the fact, we can go and say, analyze that data.
But I think what happened is maybe I got the drive, not the journal file. I don't know if we keep them separate. The journal file is a copy of the log file, or do
I
we
bel
record everything in the log in the journal file and make the log file separate from that? I was not sure about it.
I'm not sure either. I went looking for it. Let's see. Who gets SD wrap? Who gets called? Okay, where's log aggregator? I was looking at that. So we create a log line. So that's produce data. there's a log line. I think, I'm not sure if logger gets. No, it's a or. So SD logger gets the folder, gets the directory, and then there's a switch based on log type, um, journal, drive, or survey.
One
Is
or
the
the other,
three
not
choices.
both.
Not both at once, or
Okay.
so I think what happens with the log is that if not too sure. Let's see, where is that? I say journal log journals. Yeah, okay. So find a reference here.
The radiation levels are the same, about the same. So that was good. I was very happy to see
That's
that. That's the
encouraging.
first time really that I can see measurements from the safe fault. I asked Peter for maybe a year to do some testing, but that never happened. I don't have a source here, so I cannot test that. But I was happy to see the levels of the measurement are inspected. That's good.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like the yeah,
Because when I entered it in QGIS, then you saw just a whole area, no measurements, and beginning
right.
and the end of the flight there were measurements.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought so too. And the
Okay, let
nano
me
was
figure.
no problem. And the coordinates were correct, as far as I know.
Mhm.
Oh no, that's not correct because there were no coordinates. Because it said 0 and but it had the time and it has the measurement of the radiation, so that the graph could be made from that. And for the GPS, I designed a new plate, a small plate that goes under the GPS, and for the version 4 boards, and it doesn't use the pins anymore. It uses only the small white connector.
Oh yeah. So
It's
you
much
found
easier for people to use.
you
I will
found
show pictures later.
the mate to that connector.
What?
You
Yeah,
found
they
a
come. They come with a mate.
on the board?
No, hold on a second.
Now,
You can see it.
when you order the GPS modules, you get a
Yeah,
little
they get
Oh, I see.
one
Yes,
with it.
and then you solder the wires into
Yeah,
the. Okay.
that's it. It's much
unfortunately
Okay.
they're not color coded,
no.
but
That's not true. On the Fox here, they are color coded,
oh, that's true. Yeah.
and also on the BZ. I think there is called BZ GSSS 251. I think they also have color coded. But it's a different connector than the BK.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that
Found
would be
out
a
later.
that would
Oops.
be a that would be a bad oops.
Yeah, I thought so too. But we can if we send them out for people to make them, we can just send the wire with it. That's easier. Because those are hard to make, those connectors.
But you can very carefully pull out the connector in the wires and move them around inside the connector
I didn't understand.
with an X-Acto knife.
Mm.
I said if you need to reposition the wires in the connector, you could very carefully pry up the plastic
Oh yes, I
and
do
pull
that.
out each
Yes,
connector and
pull
put
them
it in a
out.
different
Yeah,
location.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time. Or just with a very small screwdriver, just pick it in between and then it pops
Yeah.
out.
I use the tip of an X-Acto blade, an X-Acto knife, just the very tip of it.
Yeah, I normally have steel, how do you call it, stainless steel pliers, pincets, I call them in Dutch. I don't know in English. Where you grab things with?
Tweezers.
Tweezers. Tweezers.
Okay.
It's my
All right. So,
favorite for
yeah, my
SMD connector.
calculations. So with the GPS connector, it's actually airplanes fly 255 meters per second is actually a really high estimate. It's actually more like that. If it's going at 900 kilometers an hour, it's be 50 meters per second. So it's not that it can't be distance. So it could be one of the settings. If in the u-blox modules, there's kind of a default setting. Whether it's in a car, it's driving in a car or something. I think there's the normal, kind of a normal
Yeah.
mode. See if I can find that stuff.
Or you think it's
Yes.
it
I
doesn't
don't
come
have
out
that.
up it's higher than a certain level, it doesn't produce any GPS coordinates anymore?
I let you know in a minute. There you go. Where's the u-blox folder? That interface description meant 10. I saw it in the M8 manual. I'm not too sure if I can find it again in the M10. General information.
Maybe look up the word bicycle. I'm looking it up right now.
Right.
I think in the U center there was something like that too. I remember. There are basic settings for the GPS you can program.
I don't see anything jumping out at me.
No, I don't see anything. Let me see if I go back to the M8
Yeah,
manual.
that's where I found it. Yeah, that's probably something we should do offline, but that's certainly something worth
Mm.
looking at.
Because this is the first flight I got recorded. So I was
Right.
surprised by missing all those points in the middle. While the Nano can just has everything on it.
So it cut out after 4,000 meters?
Yeah, it looks like that. If I see the log file, if you see the log file from it, I
Yeah.
think it goes to 3999 something, and then suddenly the coordinates disappear. I
Very
can be
strange.
wrong, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Check.
Well, that speaks a lot to Michael's point that we should just be recording everything all the time,
Hmm,
even if there's a bunch of zeros in
I think so too.
the log file, and let the API filter those out.
Mhm.
So at least for now, till we can get a little bit more confidence in how this unit's working.
Mm.
So I can't find anything in that what we're doing that would be knocking out based on altitude, and speed doesn't seem to be an issue. So it would have to be some sort of something that comes back in the nav PVT, the PVT position velocity time
Mhm.
that comes back as being invalid, and that's what I'm trying to capture with these extra records. So I couldn't find a separate log file. Excuse me. Yeah, a separate journal file. So it's either or. So that's why I'm just piling on um, a second record.
Yeah, we can check
Very
it.
embarrassing. I finally got it all working, and I can't find one of these little adapters, the little adapters for a micro SD card to a regular SD card to fit into my computer. So I had to go out and buy one. I got one
I
just
see.
haven't had a chance to actually still sitting here in the box. But I want to look at the log files I've been capturing and having a look at what
But
happens.
you can get also like this ones. You have
Yeah,
to
that's
open
exactly
them.
what I got.
Ah,
But
but this one has a small one
I had
too.
I had a whole bunch and I can't find them anymore.
There's a
So
small one and a big one,
exactly. I just it's
and
sitting here in.
USB-C on the other side.
So maybe I'll have to, and maybe today I'll get a chance to have a look at them. Anyway, so that's the idea is to see what's going on. Uh, that that user has a return trip. Who was it who was flying? Or do you know?
Andy.
And okay,
But he does something funny. He does recordings for radiation in the airplanes. That was
right.
this project is about. So he
Oh,
flies a
okay.
lot. So that's why he bought a Zen, so he can
Oh,
record it.
okay. So we got all right.
Probably gonna
I
get
guess it
more
flies
from
a lot.
him.
Okay, so maybe the idea of having that the special M5 burner version, he could be one of our test users.
Yeah, yeah, he can do that for you if you want to.
Okay.
I mean, he's willing to. He's very excited. So he got also from Kronek. He got he will get an synthesizer too. So he
Oh,
can
okay.
also compare that with what kind of
Yeah,
radiation is in there.
yeah.
Not only from L&D, from a tube.
I'd I'd like to stick around.
Mhm.
I'd like to be in see what is. I mean, does he have trouble at airport check-ins? The security clearance?
I don't know.
Like,
It isn't. I mean, those things are done by Peter and other people already, and it seemed to be fine. Nanos.
okay.
Oh, talking about the nano, I got a new case for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's 1/3 of the price. Oops, okay. And hold on a second. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit
Mhm.
longer, but a little bit thinner. The nano is always I thought always a little bit too wide for my hands. But
Oh,
this
yeah.
one is a little bit thinner, and the display you
Okay.
can read very clearly
Yeah.
on it. I mean, there's no
Oh, yeah,
line,
right.
only a very small line on top of it. The Nano has a big lines on it.
Right. That's right. The big sort of the stripe. Yeah, okay.
Was interesting. I mean, I saw different ones, and this one, because the problem is the Pelican cases are, according to my reseller, they don't make them anymore, the 1015s. But
Oh,
according to Joe, they just don't have enough at the moment. They just sold too many, and then they have to make a new batch. That's
oh,
according to Joe. But let's see. So I was frantically searching around to get new ones, and I found a batch of 30 of them. So we have spare.
What are these you're talking about?
What?
Okay, what are you talking about? The
for
cases?
the
Oh,
Nano.
the cases, the Pelican case, the 1015.
Oh,
Is that for
oh,
the Zen or for the Nano?
Then,
it's
Oh,
for the Zen.
yeah, it's a problem if it doesn't. But it looks like also in China I can get very similar ones. So let's fingers crossed. I hope we can keep getting the 1015s because they're nice and strong.
I found the documentation
okay.
on
Oh,
UBX CFG Nav 5 is the navigation engine settings. And you can specify the dynamic model of being pedestrian, automotive, sea, airborne with less than 1G acceleration, airborne with less than 2G acceleration, and bicycle. They say bike. That's why I was looking for bicycle. It was bike.
Like,
yeah, close.
no, is it Nav CFG?
Nav, UBX CFG Nav
Oh, CFG.
5.
I'm sorry.
CFG Nav 5.
And what does it need to be set if it's in a flight, or what kind of presets is that?
You know, I'm looking up the presets right now. EU dynamic.
Now, are you looking in the M8?
M10,
M10.
but I believe it was in the M8 as well. I remember
Okay,
looking
no,
at
I'm
this
looking at
before.
M10. I can't.
Yeah.
Michael, can you paste that information in the chat so I can look later in the U block in the U center, so I can check the bit directly and try it out.
Yes, I'll do that.
I don't see. And I only see UBX CFG, and it's there's
See here,
this
UBX Nav 5,
Page 60.
page 60, right? And here it is down.
Oh, okay, because I don't have that
So,
interface description.
see here it is here, the dynamic model.
Right.
Right in this area right here.
I don't have that particular document. I'm looking at the serial number at the top, 3845.
This is oh, there's a document number. It's
Yeah.
R23845. Yes.
Ah, okay, because that's the one I was looking at before. That's I'm looking at a more recent one, and that seems to have been taken out. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, if I can I share my screen for a sec?
Yeah.
Sure.
Uh, so I want to share screen. Share. And is it the desktop too? Here it is. Share. There we go. So
Yeah.
if that's the old one here, where we go to UBX nav 5. But if I look at my folder here, if I go back up, the more recent interface description has taken it out. So I have UBX CFG, and there's only basically individual fields that you can set, get, and delete.
But it's R3. Yeah. It's a more higher number, 62.
Yes. If I go to the other one, R01.
Yes.
So, and that's where I was having trouble with the, if you remember, there was that valid LLH parameter that Michael peeled off for me out of the nav PVT packet. Doesn't exist in the earlier ones, which is very confused because it's in the M8, the early M10, and then in the later M10. So see val set C receiver configuration for details. Configuration items. CFG group item. It looks like we spent too much time thinking, not enough time meeting.
No, thinking is also important. If we can think together, we have one big brain.
So okay, so yeah,
it's going to take some digging, but it's in this section of the manuals called navigation output filters.
oh, okay.
That's the capture. That's the thing we need to capture.
But they basically filter it out if it's not in a certain mode.
Yes.
For example, in C mode, it takes out certain measurements, but if it's in air mode, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's
Can you
really,
make it?
it comes back to what I was saying earlier. It's a well-documented black box. Like they tell you a lot about what they produce, but they don't tell you how they produce it. And frankly, I'm not sure I'd understand it anyway. I mean, that's.
But Michael, the basic settings are for what?
That's the problem, is I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. So I just Googled uBlock's navigation output filters, and I'm picking up all the stuff in the forum that says, we're trying to disable. We don't even know if the filters are active or not, but we're trying to disable to make sure they're not active. How do we
Right.
do that? And nobody knows.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. See, it was visible in the M8 product where we could actually just see what exactly what, but now it's not. So configuration database, configuration items. There's a section 4 here, configuration layers. So read. Yeah, there's a whole section 4 here, configuration overview. Configuration reference section 9, or section 4.9. And oh, this is okay. So they've got a whole section 4.9 dot whatever, and Motion detector configuration. Oh, this is going to take a little while of reading. Yeah, can I share that for a sec?
Yeah.
Share desktop 2. So they have this whole configuration reference here, output, hardware configuration, so on, and that's quite long. SPI, input protocol, time pulse, navigation, instrument rate. Yeah,
Maybe it's easy to do it in use center because it can just see what kind of filtering is done. You see if you, for example, select if it's a driving
Yep.
car or a walking person, you can see all the settings that they change.
right, exactly. There's standard procedure, so basically they're telling you what's there. Just the problem is that it's coming in a different format than we were expecting. So, oh, here, you know, so geodetic. Oh, there it is. Dynamic platform model, table 23.
Yeah, here you go. Above it, Air 2, Air 1.
There
Airborne.
it is.
There they are.
That's actually, yep. So portable, stationary, pedestrian, robotic lawnmower. I want one.
What do you mean? What one? Motorbike or the robotic?
I have a big yard.
Better get a
So now the
snowball.
question is what is the default and what do they mean? So there.
At least we're getting somewhere.
Yes. Okay. So it looks like there's going to be a little bit of digging into this. I have a bit of a train ride to the doctor's appointment for the little guy. So maybe there'll be some interesting reading on the train.
They have for an e-scooter too. What would be different to an e-scooter?
I have no idea.
I have no idea too.
Right? Because I mean, I noticed that like they have these kind of sort of free access scooters in a town next to me, where they basically just leave them lying around, and if you want to ride on the scooter, you sort of use your credit card or use your app to activate the scooter, and then you go from point A to point B and just drop it. So I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting to look into.
Yeah. And I guess that then pulls up some of these different constants. Okay. All right,
I'm
let's
seeing a
find out.
packet called CFG nav SPG outfill, which is output filter.
Okay, go search on that.
I'm in M10S, Max M10S. There's too many manuals.
I know, different versions. There it is. Okay, standard precision. Dynamic platform model. Yeah, and that just sort of refers back to the table that 23. Okay, and there's a max. Oh, I see. put filter, frequency, time, position, DOP, DOP mask. And then we're back to
Accelerator.
accuracy,
And
PDOP.
then DOP and
Wonder if there's a, oh, wait a second. There's a min LF here.
oh,
What happens if we look for a max
we
LF?
need the max F. Alright. No,
I can just do it LF.
that's the minimum.
Oh, wait a second. That's elevation. That's probably elevation in over the horizon because it's in degrees.
Mm.
Let's try altitude. Offset in altitude. Expected error in altitude. That's meters. Oh, now we're into the NMEA messages. Wait a second. What was that? That's assistance. Where?
I think the nano uses
No, that's still
NMEA.
NMEA messages.
Hmm.
UBX, okay. Altitude. UBX nav, okay. Fixed altitude, 2D
Constant
mode.
altitude. That's the sea level.
Yeah, and that just came back to it
Yeah,
just
I'm going in
went back
circles.
to yeah,
Did you
fixed
say,
altitude
Michael?
for
I
it's
didn't hear you.
basically fixed altitude for 2D fixed mode. In other words, if
What
and it's
did you say,
basically
Michael? Michael, you mentioned something.
I'm just saying that you could start to go through the manual, and I'm seeing what Louis is seeing. It just you go around in circles.
yeah,
I
exactly.
just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, because when they here, for instance, here this min LF here, if I the satellite to be used in navigation, that's elevation in terms of elevation over the horizon,
Right,
in
in
view.
degree, yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess the next step is to fire up the that use center and see what it has to say.
Yeah. Use Center 2 for M10 modules.
Use center 2.
I can hook that up. Or if you, you all can do that, I think.
Weird.
It might be a question to ask in the uBlocks forum.
Hmm.
Right?
That's
It might be a
Yeah.
simple answer.
People have already recorded flights with the M10 and see if they have good results. Then it's maybe something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that saves a lot of time. But it's interesting to know how they do this. You will make an post, or you can make you're gonna make a comment, Louis, or
Yeah, I could do that, or Michael.
Yeah, I don't. Um, so they use Kalman filters on their integration of the data from all the satellites.
Mhm.
It's basically just a smoothing filter.
Right. And then they said that the horizontal and vertical motion expectations desist statically and in the velocity acceleration, how the signals move, tracking navigation rules, constraining the Kalman filters.
Yeah. Well documented black box.
What I'm finding in the forum is more questions.
Hmm. That might be worth just okay. Well, if you're already in the forum, um,
If I can find something, I'll
let
post
me,
it. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, please.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So
Okay.
Oh, hold on a second. No, that was not it.
aha, there's my. I finally was able to read. If you, I don't know if you can see on my screen.
Mhm.
So, so I've got
Oh,
that
you
second
already?
record now,
Oh, yeah, you got.
and the list of
Oh,
the
you got
fellows.
yours.
So,
You put it in there.
what's that?
I see. You get your second record. Yes.
There's a second or so, right? There's that nav, and that corresponds to these headings. And these are all fields from the nav PVT. Now,
Nice.
the only problem is that for this particular log, I was not getting a see, 54 bytes. Let's see this one here. There we go. So now I'm getting some data points. So,
The other
oh,
one you didn't get.
wait a second. I don't see that second.
Second line.
Have to be date modified Thursday. Did I get anything that day? Yeah, there it is.
There you
I was problem opening the file. Invalid characters. Oh, that's not good to know. Edit anyway.
go. You get data points. That's all.
Nope, not yet.
No more. I saw something coming by.
No, I don't see anything.
No.
Yeah, I think all I was, oh, here's some. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Oh, that's interesting. The last one.
And the last one is what?
Yeah.
Is it-
Well, obviously, this is the first time I'm actually looking at these things. So this is telling me that the last one is not quite right, and I'm not sure what all these other numbers stand for. So A
Okay.
little bit premature right now, but at least I'm capturing stuff and I have to figure out what's
Yeah.
going on with that very last record.
Mhm.
Okay.
You didn't close it correctly or something like that.
Um, no, I think it has to do with my printf.
Mm.
String instead of character or character instead of string or something like that.
Right.
Okay.
If you have
I'll let you know how it goes.
if you have code for it, I can burn it and try to run it too if you want.
Yeah. Let me clean it up and then I'll commit the branch.
Mhm.
Called it what did I call it? Where's my so I'm calling it where are we here? Calling it GNSS flight recorder. So
Okay.
I haven't committed anything yet because it's uh still a bit not quite right.
Mhm.
So, but you can see here I'm adding all these extra
Yeah.
fields that they're
Oh,
pulling out
nice.
of the PPT. So, uh, ground speed, hitting ground speed accuracy estimate, all that stuff. So
Mhm.
that once I know that I'm capturing it correctly, then it's a matter of throwing it into a spreadsheet or doing some little bit more analysis to see what's actually happening. And then if we can see what the normal case looks like, then we can see what the abnormal case looks like. And that's just pulling information that's already available from the module itself.
Mhm.
If you want to do some extra checks, basically distance traveled or any sudden change in angle, uh, like basically applying filters not only on position, but on acceleration, angular acceleration, that kind of stuff.
Right.
On the nano, I think we have the speed also. The distance traveled. There is one on it.
Yes, there is in the, um, what is that? Log file. Yeah. So that's
No, it's not in the SD card.
it's not in the SD card.
No,
Oh, it's on the
it's on the display.
display.
Because if you switch it off, it goes off. It's on the display. On the
Oh,
second page from the display, I think. The nano.
there's a second page?
Yeah, there is a second page on it. It swaps between two screens every 5 seconds. So one
Oh,
you have I think the hours, and another one is the distance traveled or something like that. There was something like that. Hold on a second. This one says 4.4 kilometer traveled, and the other one says, oh, it's difficult to see. 4.4 kilometer, and it says the elevation. The elevation and the
yeah.
distance traveled toggled.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, right now, obviously, I don't have any GPS, so. Oh, yeah, look at that, kilometers. Oh, never noticed that. Had this thing, what, for how many years now?
Yeah, that's what I'm. And there's also dose on it. There should be dose
Yes,
on it too.
I do see the maximum dose,
Okay.
is what I was paying attention to, but nothing. Okay. I learned something today. Thank you.
I've been using it a lot. I've been through that code a lot.
Okay. All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's it for me.
Okay.
I think we can leave it here as far as I know, unless there's something else.
No, I'm fine too. Michael, you have something more?
No, no, I'm going to take a look at this nav5 packet, config nav5.
Mhm.
It's starting to make sense to me. I just need to know what the default value is.
Yes. That was given in the M8 manual. So default was I can just go back to
Especially the first byte tells you whether or not it's applying a dynamic model or not,
mhm.
whether a dynamic model is enabled or not.
So there's the M8 and it's in the receiver description.
Oh, excuse me.
Uh, there's a lot more verbose in the M8.
Okay.
Um, yes, SBAS. No. Oh, receiver default. Two box receiver. Yeah. Yeah, I can't. There's navigation input filters. Here we go. Right. So a lot more description in the M8 manual.
Mhm.
Output filters. So
Oh, what they do, yeah.
speed.
Mhm.
Right. So yeah. Uh, but I don't know how much of that applies from the to the M10. That's
Yeah,
the M8
I don't know.
specification.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm hoping that the default is that the filters are not applied.
yeah, that will be good. But,
But then that doesn't explain what happened on the airplane.
No.
That
Yeah.
was the goal, is to figure out what was going on with the airplane.
mhm.
Feel like traveling?
It would be nice if we have another recording to compare
Yeah.
if it's
Did
consistent.
he know? Do you know what GPS module he had on the airplane?
We had an M10,
Okay,
Okay.
a BK. We had.
interesting.
You know what would be helpful, Rob, when you manufacture these things,
Mhm.
just put a little note, either what configuration or what module is actually on here. Because for instance, for mine, I just took a pen because you can't really tell. See if it can get
So,
focus here, right? You
mhm.
can't really tell from the antenna, the patch antenna, what it looks like. So I just basically just wrote it down.
That's an idea.
Yeah. And that way, if a user comes along and says, "Hey, wait a second, I've got a problem here," well, you just ask them, like, what did you write down?
Or
What
you
you,
can easily put it on a USB serial. You can see what protocol comes out. Oh no, you don't know. You don't know what model it is. That's correct.
yeah,
That's
But
true.
we know if it's an M10 or an M8. You can see that.
M10, M8,
You cannot see if
it's
it's a BK or a BE or another model. That's true.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we know if it's an M10 or an M10, 8. It's
Yes.
easy to see because the protocol is.
Yes, because then we could tell by the protocol version. Um,
Yeah, but the idea I think is very good to document that everything that goes out and even put it in the spreadsheet.
yep.
In the shared spreadsheet for bGeigieZen tracker. That's a good.
Yes, yes, that big spreadsheet. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that's
Very
it for
good.
me too.
Yep. Okay, great. So have a good
Thanks
week,
for all the
everyone.
work. Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Very good.
good.
All right.
Talk to you
I'm going to
later.
shut
Bye.
it down.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye-bye.